Hey, finally gonna do a video where you get to see my ugly face. So let me know what you think about this format. Today, what I want to talk about is performance testing. This is going to be a three-part video series, at least that's how I'm planning it. First part here, I'm just going to talk about what is performance testing, what does that mean, and how do you apply it correctly. Then we're going to talk about how to actually do performance testing. I'm going to do some actual math and show what do the inputs look like, what type of measurements do you need to take, that sort of thing. And then part three is going to be kind of being devil's advocate and talking about some of the pitfalls of performance testing and some of the ways to not use it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into part one. So performance testing, what we hear that on Facebook groups or whatever, and you hear what does that mean? What are we doing? What are we performance testing? And obviously to everybody it means something a little bit different, but at the core of it is we are measuring one goat, a doe's performance, and we're measuring that by how many pounds of kids, she produces at weaning. So, if this doe produces, gives birth to 3 kids, and let's say at weaning, one is 30 pounds, one is 40 pounds, and one is 50 pounds, then this doe's performance was, let's see if I can do math on camera now, should be 120 pounds, right? We are not looking at, it's very important to understand, we are looking at the doe's performance, her ability to raise and wean kids, not at individual kids. That this one kid is 30 pounds, I don't care. I don't care that there were 3 kids. I care that the total at weaning was 120 pounds. Now, the astute among you will probably know that, well, aren't you basically just measuring milk production? Yeah, we are. But there's other things involved in that. You're also measuring parasite resistance of the doe. You're also measuring the feed efficiency of the doe, the feed efficiency of the kids, all those sorts of things. And because if that doe has, for example, poor parasite resistance, her milk production isn't going to be as good. So her kids aren't going to grow as well. Obviously, this does kind of lend itself towards larger litter sizes. Those do tend to do well, do tend to beat out the triplets, tend to beat twins, tend to beat singles, though not always. Every once in a while somebody surprises you. This also favors goats that are more thrifty, more feed efficient, and you might say, well, doesn't that favor goats that wean or that kidded earlier? We'll get to that in video 2 and how we adjust that and compensate for that. So put that question to the side for now. The other thing I wanted to talk about was it's at weaning. If this doe gave birth to 3 kids, and let's say at 60 days, one of the kids dies, gets eaten by a coyote, gets Clostridia, maybe misses vaccine, I don't know, just died. It doesn't, it had a heart attack. It died of a broken heart. I don't know. It dies. Okay, and then at weaning you have, let's say, a 40-pound kid, and I don't remember what the original numbers were, 30-pound kid. Okay, her production is now 70 pounds. And that third kid doesn't count. It was lost before weaning. So it's also a measure of her and her genetic line's ability to stay alive, whether that's from predators or diseases or whatever it is. You might say, well, what if she had quads and you pull one? That's kind of we'll talk a little bit more about that in video 2, but it's kind of your decision on how to count that. I generally don't count that. She didn't raise that. She didn't wean that. She might get a little gold star that'll break a tie between her and another doe. But that's about all it'll really do for her. So how do we use these numbers, or how do I use these numbers at least? Obviously everybody's reasoning is different, or approach to things is different. The main thing that I use this is to both keep and retain quality does, and also keep and retain quality kids. So let's say that this one right here is a female, and her doe, let's say that 70 pounds was good. It's not, but let's just pretend that 70 pounds is good. This one's a female. I did the wrong symbol. And we can decide, okay, well, that's in the top producing. Her mom is in the top producing group of does, so I'm going to retain that kid, and hopefully that she gets that maternal traits. So those kind of the main things that I use it for. We'll get into video 3. You're probably already starting to think about things like, oh, what about this? What about this? In the next couple of videos, we'll talk about more along those lines, especially the pitfall video. That's the one I'm kind of looking forward to getting to, because there are a lot of people that kind of use this wrong or just don't think about it the right way. So anyway, yeah, that's the gist of it. It's how many pounds a kid's produced at weaning on a per doe basis. We do not care about individual kids. We care about the sum total of the weight of the kids that are alive produced at weaning.